It took me 70 years to be able to write the book, Paula's Window, about the brutality and the deprivation we suffered at the hand of the Nazis. I was born in 1934 in Nowogrodzic, Poland, and for 7 years I was a happy, carefree child, adored by my parents and extended family. The Nazis invaded Nowogrodzic on July 3, 1941. Anti-Jewish laws took effect immediately. As Jews, we lost all our citizenship rights. We had to sew the yellow Star of David on our outer garments so that we were easily identified as Jews. Nazi death squads conducted roundups to hunt down and kill Jews. My father began making plans. In the spring of 1942, my parents, my younger brother Isaac, and I were forced to leave our home and move into the Nowogrodzic ghetto. Despite a curfew and many guards, my father moved secretly in and out of the ghetto. He warned us of massacres and selections. Our first escape occurred at night. My mother handed us over the ghetto fence to our father. We walked for hours that night and hid in the underbrush during the day. We lay in silence for hours while my father searched for food. It was days before we were returned to my mother, who had stayed behind in the ghetto. While we had been in hiding, hundreds of children were taken brutally from the ghetto and killed. Papa joined the partisans and would often be gone for long periods of time. My mother was the source of our stability. She was the wheel of my life. Isaac and I were outside playing the day the Nazis came for my father. We had not heard from him for months by then. When the Nazis couldn't arrest my father, they took my mother. They tore her from my life, and my world stopped turning. She was murdered on Yom Kippur, 1942. My father joined the Belsky brothers partisans group in the Naliboki forest and engineered our elaborate escape from the ghetto. Isaac and I were put into an empty water barrel. The lid was sealed, and the barrel was placed on a horse-drawn carriage. After many hours of travel in this damp cask, we arrived at the farmhouse. We were reunited with my father the evening of the second day. Our new home was deep in the forest with over 1,000 other Jews. Every adult in the camp adhered to the partisans' code to ensure the group's survival. Partisans had to be able to run at a moment's notice, and young children slowed the group. One night, my father didn't arrive with the others in his band. I heard people talking. If he didn't return, no one would care for us. I was horrified. How could this be? The answer was logical. If he lived, we lived. If he died, we died. My father understood this, and soon after he took a companion, a woman named Hannah. In all the years that she and my father were together, first in the forest and years later after she and my father were married, she never once hugged or kissed me. Soviet soldiers liberated our compound in 1944. Tuvia Belsky commanded that the forest encampment be destroyed by being blown up. Over 1,200 residents of the camp were suddenly homeless. Papa knew there were many Poles eager to kill Jews in Nowogrodzic, and he turned us in the direction of Lida. After many moves, my family arrived at the displaced persons camp at Fehrenwald, Germany, in January of 1946. I was 11 years old. I loved being in school. All my classmates were Jewish, and I had many friends. We studied the history of Israel and the Hebrew Bible. I loved the Bible stories, and I loved the Hebrew language. My friends and I joined the Zionist group Beitar. When Israel won its statehood, I was chosen to carry the new blue and white flag at the student assembly. I was so proud. A representative of Histadrut visited our school to tell us about the new state. I desperately wanted to go. After all we had been through, it was my dream to see Israel and fight for the land. I felt it would be an honor to die for Israel. I was so passionate about going that the Histadrut representative, Leah, agreed to take me. After school, I ran to tell my father. I was so excited. His answer was deeply disappointing. No! I didn't save you just to send you away somewhere. I was 39 when I went to Israel for the first time. I got off the plane and kissed the ground.